A Delta passenger said she was awoken by a warm sensation while napping on a flight. That's when she says she opened her eyes to discover an allegedly well-known pastor peeing on her, causing her to let out a scream that gained the attention of an off-duty police officer. Alicia Beverly was resting in the back seat of a red-eye Delta flight, returning home to Detroit on a Monday after a fun girls' trip to Las Vegas when she dozed off in her seat next to her sister. Unfortunately, her silent slumber was soon interrupted by an unusual, warm sensation, causing her to bolt awake mid-flight. "It felt warm, like on the side of me I felt something warm," Beverly recalled, according to Fox 2 Detroit. After the unusual sensation caused Beverly to wake, she opened her eyes to discover that a pastor was relieving himself on the plane. Not only was he relieving himself, but he was also urinating directly on the sleeping woman. The shocking revelation resulted in a rightfully emotional response, causing the woman to let out a scream that woke other resting passengers. "I jump up, and I saw his private area out and I screamed and that woke everybody up," Beverly said, recalling how she was taken aback by the sight. "By that time I actually looked at him and I see him shake himself off and I'm like, this man just peed on me. I looked and there was a puddle of pee in the seats," she said. He didn't say anything the whole time he was standing there. Following Beverly's screams, other passengers rushed to her aid, including an off-duty police officer, the New York Post reported. The cop restrained the man, who has not been identified. It was reported, however, that the peeing passenger, who's accused of relieving himself on a sleeping woman in the back seat of the Delta plane, is a well-known pastor from North Carolina. However, not everything may be as it appears. According to the outlet, the pastor suffered a bad reaction to a sleep aid medication, but that doesn't diminish the traumatizing ordeal that Beverly experienced. In addition to being urinated on, the woman was forced to sit in her urine-soaked clothes for several hours until the flight's arrival in Detroit. Following the troubling encounter, Beverly said she was suffering from high anxiety related to the horrifying incident. "I left work yesterday because I couldn't stay, but I had to tell them why I needed to leave. It was a lot. My anxiety was really high, literally. Since then I have only gotten 4 hours of sleep," she tearfully told the local news station. While our compassion is with Alicia Beverly and we don't want to diminish or invalidate her emotional reaction, which is warranted, we also have empathy for the pastor if the reason given for the incident is true. Could you imagine taking a medication to help you sleep on a flight, only to be awakened by a screaming woman because you're unknowingly relieving yourself on her due to your own altered mental state? Let this be a lesson about using caution when prescribed an apparently new medication. A lengthy flight might not be the time to test it out. In addition, let this also serve as a reminder that we have the control to take a bad situation for another person and make it better by showing some humanity. After all, I struggle to believe no one aboard had clothing that they could have given this woman so she could remove her urine-soaked clothes. That's more troubling to me than learning that she was awakened by a peeing pastor.